Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome to today's video. We are in the world of Willow Creek, more specifically on the BFF lot, which is in Foundry Cove. It's that corner lot that is next door to the Daisy Hovel lot. It's in that kind of starter home street in Willow Creek. I love this street. I mean, it's generally where I build a lot and I start a lot of my saves in this street. And today's build didn't really have any kind of overarching themes. I didn't necessarily have a plan. This is very much a typical Anna build where I just open my game and I just start building bump outs and layering and kind of working out how I want it to sit. So in the end, we end up with a 3x2 bedroom home, and the exterior is in this beautiful brick and sliding, and it's in like a chocolate brown color, and I really loved the coloring of this build. It isn't very complementary to the colors that are in the street. Like the neighboring houses don't really fit into this build, but I suppose I could just refurnish the neighboring houses so it does. The house next door, you may see glimpses of it as we build, but it is that semi-modern build that we had from, is it last month? No, I think I built it back in, was it April? It was live on the channel. If you do see that build and you like the look of it, it is available on the channel. You can go back and watch that. That was a beautiful home too. That was also, I think it was a 3x1, 3x2, 3x1, can't remember. Anyway, that had a sunroom, like that was front facing, and it's really lovely. You can kind of see glimpses of that build. But maybe I should just decorate across the road as well, just so it's all cohesive. Anyway, I really love this lot because it's a really good size and it's horizontal. I've actually been really enjoying a lot of horizontally shaped lots because of, I guess, because I build in San Sequoia all the time, and that's how the lots are shaped over there. And I've just been building these beautiful, like, craftsman style homes. And yeah, I guess this is kind of a little bit like that. I do use a lot of growing together in this build. I also add in this extended carport area. I use some roof pieces and I think that turns out really good. I think I move the house over a little bit later on, so you'll see that. And then it took me a while to work out the colors. So I think initially I did start with just like the chocolate brown sliding, but then I added in the brick later on and it just really brought the build together. So at this point, I decided to kind of map out the fencing. This is just to kind of get the spacing of the build and the lot. Like, where do I want the landscaping to go? Do I need to make the house smaller? Is it too big? Is it not big enough? Does it need a little bit more? Does it need more bump outs? Does it need any more like interest to the build? What does it need? And this is definitely because I am building kind of I'm freelancing, I guess. I don't have a house. It's not like I went into Pinterest or Google and looked up a build. I'm just kind of going with it. I'm just kind of, we're letting my creativity drive me to wherever I want to go. Because I think, I've been building for many years, and when you've been building for a long time, you kind of get the idea of how you want a house to look and also the spacing. So, you know that, like, okay, if I want to do a kitchen, I'm probably going to need 3 to 4 tiles wide of a space. I'm going to need, where do I want my sitting room? Where do I want my stairs? Like, if I'm going to have an upstairs that's functional, it has to be wide enough to be able to have a functional upstairs. Like, you kind of learn these things, and then by habit you just know, oh, okay, this will work here or that will work here, and I can place that there. And yeah, so anyway, that's basically a little bit behind the scenes of what goes through my mind when I am kind of freelancing these builds. So a little bit more about this home. So as I said, it's a 3x2. It is decorated in more of a semi-modern style. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we decorate. But we are inside and we are moving into I guess, the floor plan. So I'm using a base game flooring. I love this base game flooring. There is a couple of flooring that I gravitate towards. I think I use a lot of cats and dogs, and the business and hobbies one would have also really worked in this build because, again, I'm making it a little bit more modern. From the exterior, it looks like a traditional family home, very suburban, but the inside is decorated fairly modern, which I like. Okay, so for the bedrooms, we have a twins child's room, a female teens room, and then the master bedroom. So they are the 3 bedrooms, and you have plenty of activities. I've really kind of put activities for all different life stages in this home. And yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the floor plan. So you walk in, you have kind of a central hallway. To the right side of the build, you have a kitchen, dining, living room. And then I think to the left, you have potentially a master bedroom and I guess just like another hallway. And then upstairs, you have 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. The upstairs was very easy to do the floor plan because it wasn't like there wasn't much to the upstairs. So I guess the rooms kind of formed themselves, which is how I like to do a floor plan. I like it when the floor plan tells me how it's going to go, other than me having to try and work it out. Because sometimes when you have just like a big empty space, you're like, oh my God, how do I do this? Sometimes, and that always happens to me as well, because like I'll get the spacing wrong and I end up with this massive home and I don't know how to space it. So what we do is we use a ton of hallways and archways. Okay, so at this point, I'm trying to work out where the kitchen's going, how I want to lay it out. I loved this kind of bay window, so I decided to make the kitchen here and potentially set it up so like the sink is where the bay window is. Through that door off from the kitchen is actually a laundry, which I think is super cool. I tend to do this in all my builds. Like if I have a laundry room, for some reason, it's always connected to the kitchen or near the kitchen. I think that is a little bit because of the house that I grew up in, had the laundry kind of, well, it was kind of like around the corner from the kitchen, but it was very close in proximity. And I think that I've also seen like, I don't know, like a lot of the homes I've seen, like in movies and TV shows, like that's also how it is. But yeah, I think that I might find another place to put it. I guess you could also do a laundry towards like a mud room, which is like towards the back of a property. You could do that as well. Maybe I'll look into some more floor plans and see how it is. Anyway, do you guys use laundry in your games? Let me know. I add it in because I think that it's a really realistic room to have. So I include it. I put the fireplace. Yeah, no, I do it. Yeah, I put the fireplace and then have the TV above it. I think it just makes sense. I really liked the idea of a fireplace in this room. And we do use the new couches that come part of a marketplace update. And not an update, sorry, it was a marketplace kit, I guess, creator kit. Really cozy. And again, we're just using furniture that is more on that semi-modern style. I do use a lot of cats and dogs in this build. Just things that are like, I don't know, pairing modern with traditional, which is very, I guess, on par with my decorating. Sometimes I can never stick to one. Love these bookshelves. These come from Businesses and Hobbies. And we use the curtains from the, what's that called? Something Luxe? Modern Luxe kit? I want to say it's the Modern Luxe kit. Anyway, added that in. Added a easel. I also put in a chess table on this wall. And I think I put like a side table with a flower on it in just like this space here. Through that door is a really large downstairs bathroom. It is massive. So yeah, so the floor plan's coming back to me. So you walk in and you obviously head to the right, which is what we're doing now. So you're walking to that living area and then through those archways into the kitchen and dining. And then off the kitchen, you have a little tiny laundry. It's a tiny room. You could almost make that into a powder room if you wanted to. So a powder room is just like a toilet and a sink. It's a smaller sized bathroom, I guess. But the downstairs bathroom is so massive. So I think that it's okay that we don't have that. So yeah, I think I swap out the fridge as well. I don't think I keep this fridge because again, I'm trying to stick with the theme. I do keep the counters though. I think they are from Parenthood, and I do spruce up the kitchen a little bit more later on. I do come back to it because I do this when I decorate. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like I have to kind of get an idea of the living areas and then I kind of go back and properly furnish it. Like, I don't think I keep that table and chairs. Anyway, we are back outside. I think at this point I want to finalize the exterior. And it was at this point where I'm like, it's okay, but something's not sitting right. I added this extra roof piece to kind of give a little bit more pizzazz to that side of the roof. And I think it worked really well. I'm really happy with it. I've also changed out some of the windows. I don't usually use these windows. They come from Base Game. You also have the one tile wide version that we actually got in City Living, and I use that as well, paired with some of the Base Game windows. I think I do, yep, and then I just added in the flower pots underneath some of the windows. I've done this because I really love the pop of yellow. So the yellow on the brown goes really well. And I added in the air conditioning unit. Again, I mentioned this in a previous build this month, but I've been doing that a lot. Don't know why, it just looks like it would fit the space. And again, I've swapped out some of those windows. So they initially were Base Game windows, I think, and I've just gone in with some of these single tiled windows that come from City Living. Don't know why they don't have them in the Base Game, but we got them in City Living anyway. All right, so I think at this point, yeah. So this is the swatch I've gone with. So it's like a red brick with the same brown sliding, and I just really like it. It just elevates the build and gives it a little bit more dimension. We also changed the chimney color, obviously the brick in the chimney. I changed the roof tile to like a lighter brown, and this is where I add that extended piece of roof to make the carport. Love this. I don't usually do this. I usually do a proper carport, but I really like this. And this is kind of realistic. Like my house, where I live has something like this. It's not like a fully enclosed carport, but it still works. And again, it adds shape to the front of the build. So I've used this fencing piece to create like flower beds. I also swapped out the front columns because I didn't think the growing together ones worked because I changed the foundation to match the brick. So the columns no longer worked. All right, so now I think we are fully moving in to the landscape. So the important thing with the landscape was to definitely start with the trees and kind of map out where I wanted to use the trees and have them not be too high. I didn't want to use massive trees because I didn't want to block anything at the facade. I wanted you to be able to look at the build and go, whoa, that's a really cool build. Because sometimes I feel like if the trees are too big, they're blocking the actual rooms and the windows. It's like in real life, you wouldn't want to have a massive tree in front of a window because it's going to block the light. I suppose in The Sims, it doesn't really matter, but there is a part of me when I build, I always have that kind of sense of realism that goes through my mind, especially when I'm roofing. Sometimes certain roof pieces don't match each other, like they don't sit right. And it's like realistically, that wouldn't work. Like it wouldn't be that way. So I don't know. Anyway, it could just be me. All right, so I do add in some gardening plots at the front. I'm doing that now. And I also add in a swing set to the far right side of the build. And obviously you've got the carport, so I put in some bins. I love this swing set. It comes from Growing Together, and it was actually part of the early, bonus. If you bought the pack at a certain time, you got it. And I really hate it because it's such a nice swing set and I really wish more people had access to it. Anyway, put that there and, just in a complementary color. And we are out the back and we are doing the backyard. I do believe I put in a pool. Yes. So we put in a pool, and I would put in, I think I put in a slide, a water slide, and I think maybe some other kids' equipment. And then we just do like the standard, like sitting area. I'm trying to think of what else I put out here. It's been a while since I've built this. What have we got? Oh, treehouse. We have a treehouse. So I actually extend the fence to the edge of the lot so I can fit in a treehouse, which makes sense. This lot is deceivingly big. Like the neighboring lot, the Daisy Hovel lot, is vertical. So it's a big lot, but it's more vertical. This is horizontal, so it's massive. You could easily fit 2 homes on this lot. It's that big. And yeah, no, I just really enjoy it for building like really big family homes, really spacious family homes and whatnot. Okay, we are inside, and I think we're officially starting the decorating. So I do this where I start at the front door and I work my way around. So that's how I know we're decorating. I've used a combination of a lot of packs, but a lot of growing together as well. And because there were some like modern assets in growing together that I think work really well with that kind of semi-modern slash traditional vibe that I was going for. So I included that. You've obviously got your alarms. I'm just finding some artwork. I love these pieces that come from Tiny Living. They just fit in many spaces. Simple rug. I also use this desk. So this is like a marble style desk that we got. It's from one of those marketplace maker kits. It was free, so I used the computer and desk because, again, I was going for a more modern home. I don't think this build fully like matches that type of style. Like I think that would be for a really super modern home, but I think it works and it was new at the time and I wanted to use it. So I've added that in there, and I think that it kind of, I don't know, it doesn't really look right. I feel like that should have had its be in its own office. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are. I love eco lifestyle. I totally forgot how good eco lifestyle is for like modern contemporary pieces, like wall decals and whatnot. So I really loved that shelving piece. And we are back into the kitchen. So I've changed the backsplash on the wall. I've changed the fridge that we've gone with, kept the oven, and I'm just going in with the upper cabinets. I also rearranged, I moved the bin and stuff and added some extra cabinets because I wanted to use the floor to ceiling, or in this case, cabinet to ceiling shelving unit. I love this. I think in family homes it's cool. I really love all the plates and like the little books and stuff and how it says. Yeah, and now this is the point where we just clutter. We just add in everything and everything you can think of. I think I put in maybe a kettle or something, and I just add a whole heap of things and just really clutter up the space. I make sure I put a cookbook in there, just things to make it like look family friendly, even though we are leaning into a more modern style. I could have made this more colorful, but I do think that the neighboring living room is more on the neutral side. So I think this kitchen being like a soft gray tone, whites and charcoal, I think that it's okay, but I have added in little pops of color. So I've used a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue. I do think I changed the chairs. Yes, I keep the table because it is somewhat modern, and I've gone in with these chairs from Growing Together. Don't usually use them because I don't like the swatches. The wood tones aren't the best, but they match with this build because we are using that kind of middle cherry tone. I used a painting that I don't think I've ever used, but it fits and it adds more of the warm tone color palette we are looking into. Okay, so I used the stack washer and dryer because I was limiting space, and this is literally all that I put in the laundry. I decided to put the main kitchen bin in the laundry space just because it made more sense. I had the room to do it, And yeah, so that was just a laundry space, very simple in there. And I think we'll be moving into the bathroom. Yep. So this was huge and it took me a while to work out how to layer this. I could have realistically had made this smaller. So where this bathroom is situated is where the chimney piece is on the far right side of the build. So I could have just made this skinnier, so I wouldn't have to furnish it as much. But in the end, I decided to, I think the layout is quite good. I always forget that I have to add a toilet. I don't know why, but I go, oh yeah, I've got enough space for like a shower and a tub, and I'll put a plant here and a a bathroom cupboard over here. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to put in a toilet. So I had to rearrange this room about 4 times to try to get the layout perfect. But overall, I think it looks really good. And obviously the washing baskets, I only put them in bathrooms because in gameplay, if you have them in all the bedrooms and bathrooms, I just feel like it's way too much laundry. They need to fix that. Or maybe they have fixed it. I don't know. I don't play enough to know whether they fix that. Yeah. But anyway, this is the main crux of the bathroom. I decided to put the laundry hamper in front of the cabinet. I think it's okay because that cabinet's not functional, so it's not going to matter. We've used the mirror that we used in the hallway. I do like to do this. I like to use the same mirror throughout the build. Just makes it just a way that you can make things look a lot more cohesive, and it's less decorating. So I just use the teardrop tool throughout the whole build pretty much. Okay, we are to the far left side, and this is where you have this weird kind of hallway that leads you into the master bedroom and ensuite. And I had this space here and I didn't know what to do with it because it wasn't very wide. Initially, I was going to put the study in here, and maybe I could have and it would have made a bit more sense. But then what would I have put out there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had to do something. And anyway, I think that I did a really good job. In the end, I just put that beautiful buffet cabinet piece from, I think it comes from Comfy Kish Kit or Refined Living Room Kit, one of the two. It's gorgeous. Anyway, we're in the master bedroom. This is fun. I used a bed that comes from High School Years in this beautiful teal color. I used that armchair that comes from, I'm pretty sure it comes from Tiny Living or Nifty Knitting. I always get them mixed up. No, sorry. Nifty Knitting. It's definitely Nifty Knitting because it was identical. It was the same color. And I was like, this is great. And there's something that's semi-modern about this room. And I really love it. Those end tables are, bedside tables are perfect. They're tiny. I never use them and I really should. But I think it's the swatch. So it's in that kind of middle cherry tone that I had been using throughout the build. So that was really good. I could get away with it in this build, but I think I don't use them often because of that swatch. But it matched perfectly with the dresser that came with Business and Hobbies. So I added that in there. I used a little bit of Eco Lifestyle. That's where that wall decal piece came from. And yeah, it just works. It's not a massive master. I feel like a lot of my master bedrooms lately have been a little bit too big, and this one was perfect size. Okay, we are officially upstairs and we are doing another study nook. I do end up moving this desk over towards where the door is further down the hall, and I end up putting a cards table up here. And it's got an arts and crafting. So again, this is where I'm thinking about the family and who's in this household and just kind of making sure that there's a ton of activities. So between the exterior and the interior of the build, like there's just so much to do. Anyway, so we're putting in the cards table. I've got just a hallway table with a stack of books. Again, trying to keep things somewhat modern, but I do want it still to be family friendly. We put in a portrait, and I think we'll be moving in to is it the teens room first? I think we do the teens room first and then the child's. No, kids room first. This is a twins room, and I did this because we got these new beds. So these beds were also, again, around the same time I downloaded those free marketplace kits. I don't know what to call them. Are they kits? I don't know. Let's just call them kits for the sake of this video. And I really love them. It had like a Japanese style theme to it, which again, I felt was more on the modern side than the traditional side. And I just, instead of a proper dresser, I used these trunks. Don't know if it fits the decor style, but I like it. I kind of separated this room into halves, so I tried to, kind of make each side a little bit different. But again, not a massive bedroom, but still a good sized bedroom. And, you could adapt this build. It is available on the Sims 4 gallery if you'd like to download it and play in it. Gallery ID is Andrew.44. It's in the description. I'm sure I've mentioned that in this video. But anyway, there you go again. So you could download this and change it and alter it however you would like. All right, final bedroom is a teens girls room, and it starts with this bed from Eco Lifestyle, one of my favorites, and it is more on the modern side. Again, we're sticking with that theme. I didn't want to bring a bed from high school years because I'd used one in the master bedroom and I feel like it would be a little bit conflicting. But anyway, the mirror I used is from Adventure Awaits. It's in more of, even though it's a little outdoorsy, it's more modern. Again, I wanted to use different packs because each pack somehow sometimes things are contemporary, sometimes things are modern. So we've definitely used that. This bed is still functional, even though it is up against a wall. Sims will actually scoot across to use it. So you can technically fit 2 Sims in this room if you would like. But it was just an odd shape room. And because of where the chimney was, I didn't have, I could have put in a wall and blocked that off and put the bed facing the door. That would have worked, but I like how it is. I think that it's okay. Super girly space, really sweet. And I just really inviting. I would love this room. I think it's gorgeous. I used a combination of Love Struck, Modern Luxe Kit, Pastel Pop. Just a really fun room. Okay, we are officially at the back and we're going to finalize the exterior, I believe. And then we will be going into the tour. So again, as I mentioned with the back, we have to finish the landscaping. And I think we're adding in the kind of the entertainment area that I always have in all my builds. So we'll be adding in those. I've mentioned these potted shrubs before. Love them. They are very sleek and modern, so I've added that in. This table is very not modern, but I love this seating area. I had a ton of room, so I decided to do a little seating area next to the pool. You've got lounge chairs. I did put in a clothesline because again, we have the laundry room. I wanted to make sure I had that. And even though depending on Willow Creek does, I guess suppose it does rain quite a bit here. Oh well, it's thematic. All right, so this back, I kind of copied what I did in the front. So I started with these tall cypress trees to frame the build, kind of in a similar position to where they are in the front. And then I've gone in with these layloing flowers and just some shrubs. I used the same kind of yellow shrubs that I used in the front. And I just lined the back of, I guess, the garden bed. I really like having garden beds because it helps me with getting an idea of how much I want to use and clutter and layer. So yeah, thought that was really good. All right. We are live in game and we're going to go through the tour. So you enter in and you have your, oh, what am I doing? I'm adding some chairs. Sometimes I forget to furnish the porches. Not all the time, but sometimes I forget. So I'm just going to add in a quick little bench in yellow to complement the flowers for the front of the build. So you enter in, you have a hallway that's in a T shape, and you have that study nook. You walk down to the right side into a beautiful living room. through an archway into your kitchen and dining. Really like that. Again, so happy to use that painting. Then you go to the downstairs bathroom. So it's massive in there, but good bathroom. And I forgot the laundry off from the kitchen. You then carry through to the left side of the build. You have that improv kind of hallway that leads into the master bedroom. Love this room. Really happy to use assets I don't normally use. That is the master bedroom. Lots of growing together in there. You head upstairs and you have your landing space with your cards table and whatnot. Leads into a twin child's room. Quite nice in there. And then the far end of the right side, you have the upstairs bathroom. Very similar to the ensuite downstairs. And lastly, the teens room. Really lovely room. I think my favorite is the master room though. Master bedroom. Okay, back porch. We have not furnished it. So we're just going to add in some chairs, I think. Yeah. Again, yellow chairs. Seems to work. Again, you could put anything on these back porches. I never know what to put on porches and hallways. So this is very typical Anna building for me. All right, the backyard, you have a pool area and you have a seated area. You have like a barbecue and a table. You have the tree house and the front of the build. And that is the build today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's build. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.